What's going on, guys? It is the Sportster Brad Walker. Welcome inside the Walker Report. I will be joined by my co-hosts Adam and Lewis here momentarily, but welcome in, guys. We have a power-packed show tonight as we have a huge guest coming on this evening. And you know what? I'm not even going to bring out the name. I'm going to let you guys wait to see who it is. But real quick, guys, let me go ahead and go through my sponsors real quick. If you're looking for some for in the zone sports gear, head over to squadlocker.com, type in the zone sports radio, talk radio, get your zone gear. Yeah, I know, guys, the holidays are over, but you know what? If you got some extra money laying around, or you got a gift card that you don't know what to do with, and it's money, head on over to squadlocker.com and get yourself some in the zone gear. As I am also sponsored by creatingsenspaces.com for the local choice in St. Petersburg, Florida, for house cleaning, organization, decluttering, and pet sitting. It's all about finding the peace within you and adding comfort to your life. And remember, guys, Zen Spaces begins with you. Please be kind to yourself and one another. All right, guys, let me go ahead now. Adam is here, so let me bring Adam on. What is up, man?
Not much. We got a good show lined up for you tonight, folks.
Absolutely. All right, so let's do this. Is he okay, buddy, with coming on video, or do you need me?
I believe so. He didn't.
Okay.
He didn't.
So I don't need to put
say no.
Okay, cool. All right, awesome sauce. Like I said, guys, we're waiting on our guest to come on here. He will be on momentarily. I guess we'll have him on for about usually 15, 20 minutes is usually the most. I think that. I mean, unless he wants to stay on longer.
Yeah, well, I asked him for 10 to 15 minutes. If he's willing to go more, I'm not going to tell him no.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's fine.
He should be here momentarily. He said he'd be here at 8. So
sounds good, man.
I sent him the link, and I'm just.
See, as you can see, buddy, behind me, see the pixels? Come to find out that the camera that I have on my laptop is only 480. The camera that I ordered that I'll get next week is 1080, so you won't see the pixels next week.
I was wondering what was going on with that.
Yeah,
maybe a little hint to see what I'm repping today. Maybe a little hint to
when he comes on, I'm gonna put this up. Okay, this will be what I'll put up.
That looks great.
Actually, I'll just leave that up there.
Can you zoom out on it a little bit?
That I don't think I can at the immediate moment. Yeah, I see that. This is something that I have to get used to. I'm not quite used to the pictures yet. So, but yeah, I'll leave that up there.
That looks great.
I'll leave that photo up there for now. And as we go through it, bud, I'll change it up. So
yeah,
as we
sounds
go
awesome.
through, I'll change up the logos behind me. Like I said, ignore the pixels because they won't be there next week.
Right.
Because I ordered the camera. It will be here on the 20th, or actually the 19th. Okay.
Sweet.
So we'll be here a couple of days.
Early next week?
We do our Thursday show, yeah.
Sounds great.
I told Lewis, bud, that we were having him on, and I said if you wanted to get some questions, you could. I don't know if Lewis will ask him anything. If you want to, since he's your guest, buddy, you can bring him on, introduce him. And then if you want to, however you want to do it, buddy, it's up to you.
What I was thinking is that have you say something like, and our guest, and then I'd go ahead and say his name, and then you could add him to the call.
Sounds good to me. Works for me.
And then I have my questions. I actually have a question from my dad. He was helping me prep for the interview a little bit, and so he had a question for him. So I've been totally stoked about this the whole week. I've been totally geeking out. I'm so excited. It's an honor and a privilege to get to talk to him.
You saw the questions I have.
I did see your questions. I figured I'd bring him on and let you, I'd introduce him and let you have the first question, then we could kind of go back and forth.
Being that I don't know how to pronounce his last name, you know how to pronounce his last name. I hate to butcher people's last names on the air.
That's kind of what I was thinking. I was thinking I'd let you.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's cool, buddy. Yeah, we'll wait for him. I'm sure Lewis will be here momentarily unless something came up. I know he was having issues last week. Oh, there's Lewis right there. All right, so let's bring Lewis in real quick. Why is my mouse not working? There we go.
I can't.
Bring Lewis in.
Yo.
What's up, buddy?
Lewis.
All right.
There we go.
Hey, that looks even better.
So now we're waiting on our guest to come in, Lewis, for right now. So we're just kind of chit-chatting back and forth, waiting for our
I think I've heard of him too.
Guest of honor to show. If you want to ask him any questions, Lewis, we'll go ahead and we'll go in order. Adam will go, or I'll go, or whatever. And because I want to make sure that everyone, because I will say this on my Tuesday show that when I do, he always asks all the questions, and then he goes, "Oh, and Brad would like to ask questions." So if you wanna, like I said, if you have questions for him, just feel free to ask. If he if he says I don't want to answer that, well, then that's that.
We're just gonna let it go. That's perfectly fine. Right. Yep.
Of course.
Well, the NHL got off to a good start last night.
Yeah. Well, at least for your team.
Yeah. Well, we're playing the beleaguered Chicago Blackhawks, so I can't say.
Hey, a win is a win, and it goes in the win column.
Yes, it does.
We're showing highlights of that right now.
Yes, it does. Actually, let me flip over real quick. Check on see who's on the. Well, I know the Toronto won in overtime over Montreal 5-4. That was an interesting hockey game. Oh, and St. Louis, the Avalanche.
I was gonna say I ended up falling asleep before the late game last night.
You did?
Yeah.
All right, just a second here.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh,
I had to. Win this.
All right, so he's here, bud, but it says device not connected, so I don't think he has a camera.
Okay, that's fine.
I can't connect him in. He's got to have a microphone. It says guests will need to connect their mic or cam before you can add them to the stream.
Okay.
So I don't. You'll have to tell him to add a mic or something. If he doesn't want to show his face, that's cool. I don't care.
Right.
And I thought I had problems. Well, one time I was doing this show, but no one was able to hear me. But that was because a week ago, that's when the shore house caught on fire and it damaged my speakers. So I had to get a new computer. So that's why I was like, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. And I thought because my radio speakers were working fine, but when I was trying to talk to the mic,
the mic was damaged. I got you.
The computer was fine, but the speakers obviously were not. Yeah. But I've had this now for almost 6 months, and it's working like a charm.
It says he has an internal mic.
Yeah, because I see it says device not connected, so they're telling me down here that I can't bring him on until he connects to. The guests will need to connect their mic cam before you can add them to the stream. So I don't know if he.
I'm not sure.
Do you want to try the whole? Do you want to try the phone?
We could. Yeah. You want to put the number in the chat, in the private chat there, and have him give us a call.
Yeah. Let me bring it up here real quick. I haven't used Uber Conference in a long time.
All right.
Yes, I have to log in and everything. Hang on just a second for that.
No problem.
I use.
I mean, either way, that's the old-fashioned way with talking on the phone. I mean, there's a lot of times that there are still times that we do interviews on the Tuesday show by phone. So it is what it is if that's the case. Yeah. And there are some people out there that don't want to show their face on video. So, I mean, I've asked people that I've met from Facebook, and they're scared to death to come on here. Because they're afraid to show their face.
When they wanted me to use video, I'm like, oh, please, I don't photograph well at all. I mean, like, but I do show my show, but it's not like all video.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. I mean, some people just don't want to be.
I like being on camera. I'm comfortable with it. I've been doing it for years.
To be honest with you, there are people too that don't even want to be interviewed because they're scared to death of being interviewed.
Yeah, I've heard that.
People are afraid of staying right.
Yeah.
So he tells me he has an internal mic. Why is it not working?
I don't know.
You can also call in at 512-542-9999. 34662.
Mm-hmm.
Try that. Let's see if that's
We'll
an
give that a
option
go.
here. Turn the camera off. Shoot, where is that at? Yeah, turn this thing off. New video there. Phone is there. Bear with us, ladies and gentlemen. We are having some technical difficulties.
A little technical issues.
Please stand by.
It's aren't you supposed to have technical issues on the first show of the year, not the second show?
Yeah. Usually you're supposed to have all the glitches coming out of the way, but hey, it was 2020 last year. Okay, let's just say that.
Right.
It's just. See, I don't understand why, if he has an internal microphone,
right? It should.
Why is it showing up?
Right, it should.
Actually, hang on a second. Let me see. Here, I take him out of here and then tell him to come back on. I wonder if I can do that. Hang on a second.
Sure.
I am going to take you out of the studio and just come back in. Come back in. We will see if that works. I'm gonna try that and see maybe if it just didn't come up. Let him know, bud, on your end that I'm going to get him out of here, and then I'll let him come back in. Wow. That's the first thing I've ever kicked a guest out of the chat, but then also, too, it says, if you do not want the guest back in here, please ban him. Like, no, I don't want to ban him.
Right.
I don't want to ban him. I just want to get him out just to kind of see if it'll reset itself to see if
right.
Right.
It should work with an internal mic, like on your laptop. I never had a problem with it when I was just using my laptop mic.
Yeah, see, you're exactly right. It shouldn't at all. Because some people don't have an external microphone.
Right.
Uh-oh. I got him. Oh, I got him. Okay, all right, guys. Here we go.
Phew.
All right, are we ready?
Welcome to the Walker Report. Here's our special guest, and let me go ahead and let my co-host bring him. Say his name.
All right, Mr. Everyone, I hope you're ready, because I know I am. Welcome to the show, the voice of the Michigan Wolverines. On the radio, Mr. Jim Brandstatter.
Hi, guys.
How you doing, sir?
Sorry I was unable to get in there. I'm on my iPad.
Uh-huh.
My laptop, for some reason, didn't give you my mic and everything else.
Oh, that's okay. I'm just excited to have you on the show.
It's all right, Adam and Bradley and Lewis. Good to have you guys. Good to see you.
Thank you, sir.
See you guys, sir.
Contain my excitement here.
Oh, you'll be all right. Don't get crazy on me, okay?
Only
I'm this little screen is terrible. Hold on. Oh no, I don't want to do that. I'm trying to hold on. No, I'm not going to touch anything anymore. We're gonna do whatever. Okay. I don't even know where my camera is on this little thing.
Yeah. Neither I.
So what's up?
Thank you for being on the show, first off.
Yes,
it's good to be with you, Adam.
I appreciate you getting back to me. I was tickled pink that you even responded to my messages.
Well, I'm not that big of a stiff.
Hey, I understand people are busy. You've got lots of going on. We're not exactly we're a very, very small fish in a very big pond.
Well, believe me, back in the day, I was one of you guys. A little small guy trying to get stuff done, and he comes up that's got that is interested in broadcasting, that wants to talk about what they do, and with the advent of the internet and podcasts and everything else, I'm glad to help when I can, especially when you've got a Michigan logo behind you and a Michigan. I should get my hat on, but I don't. Hey, there you go.
For the record, I am a Wolverines football and basketball fan. So
good for you. Well, Juwan's doing a great job with the basketball.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna ask you if you watched the game the other night.
What game? That
was
slaughter.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I thought what was most telling is when they showed shots of the bench, And the team was so excited for the other guy's success. To me, that shows that Juwan's doing the right thing.
Absolutely.
That everybody's involved, everybody's having fun, and everybody's enjoying it. Even the guys on the bench. That shows me that team is engaged, and they'll do well.
I agree. I thought a bit of revenge over the football game.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait a year for that. Hopefully, 2021 we'll get our revenge back on the football field.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'll start the questions. I just had one specific question. Is reading your bio, and so you growing up in East Lansing, and with your dad and your older brother Art going to Michigan State. I was wondering if you could shed some light on what exactly attracted you to Michigan over Michigan State.
Well, for one thing, I wasn't going to go to Michigan State anyway. My brother Art played there, and my dad played there. My mom went to school there. I wanted to get out of there. I wanted to get out of town. Art's experience, my older brother's experience at Michigan State wasn't that great. And I had three schools, to go to. University of Dayton. My mom wanted me to go to Dayton because it was a Catholic university, and she thought that would be good. I was kind of interested in the University of Wyoming because it was the old get away from home, and that's big fish, little pond.
Yeah.
And the University of Michigan called me up and said, would I be interested in playing? Because they really didn't think that I would be interested in coming to Michigan, given my Michigan State background. And I said, sure, I'd love to have you recruit me. So I got recruited by Bump Elliott. When I met Bump and Hank Fondy, who recruited me, and met some of the guys that on my visit, I just fell in love with the place. And immediately thought, I like to challenge myself. And I said, look, I want to know if I can play in the Big Ten. I want to know if I can play with the big guys. Second thing, I'm sitting there with an education opportunity at the University of Michigan to get a degree from one of the finest universities in the world. And if I can pull that off, even if I don't play, I still win. And I said, this is where I have to go. And you never know when you're 17 or 18 years old whether you're going to make the right decision. Believe me, that was the best decision in my life, other than choosing my wife.
And you're what, 28, 29, somewhere in there?
Yeah, right. That was back in 1968 when I was being recruited. And my sophomore year, I participated in one of the greatest Michigan victories in the history of the game. So I guess I made the right choice.
I would have to say so.
Which you said the first. Which victory was that?
In 1969, we beat Ohio State 24-12 when Ohio State came in to Ann Arbor as the number one team in the country and had the same reputation as Alabama just had, that they could play and win NFL games.
That was the year of the infamous tie, correct? Michigan Ohio State in 68?
No, that Michigan Ohio State in 68. Ohio State killed us 50-14.
Oh.
And Woody went for 2 points after their last touchdown. Woody Hayes.
Yes.
And the legendary quote from Coach Hayes is, they asked him after the game, "Why'd you go for 2?" He said, "Because I couldn't go for 3."
Right.
Oh.
Believe me, when we as young men heard that, whether it's true or not, that got us ready to go in 1969. And they came in after having won the national championship and going unbeaten in 1969 and ranked number 1 all year long and winning by an average margin of 17 to 20 points. We were 17-point underdogs, and we beat them 24-12 and sent them home with their tail between their legs. Yeah. And that began the Schembechler era and the 10-year war with Woody Hayes and Coach Schembechler.
I think I recall that, yes.
So was 69 Schembechler's first year?
Whose first year?
Bo's first year.
Yes, it was. 69 was Bo's first year. I was recruited by Bump, and that in 68 was Bump's last year. And then in 69, Don Canham made a decision and made Bump Elliott an associate athletic director and brought Bo in from Miami of Ohio. And the rest, as they say, is history.
It certainly is.
Yes.
You want me to go next, buddy?
Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick, Jim, I have to ask, how's it? I mean, how cool has it been that since you got to play at Michigan and you get to come back and now you're the radio voice? How excited were you when you got the call to come back and be the radio voice for the Wolverines?
Well, it's a dream come true. Let's be honest. When I got out of school as a senior, I got into radio and television. I did not know. I mean, I had trained for it. I mean, I was always playing around with microphones and tape recorders when I was a kid, but never knew you could make a living at it. And back when I started in 1970, when I started these small radio stations up in Saginaw, where I first got a job, I didn't make any money. And yet I love doing it. This is what I wanted to do. And then I started doing the 6 and the 11 news. I was the news, the sports director on a television station, and I'd do the 6 and the 11 news. And I got a job in Jackson doing the same thing. And then I moved over to Detroit and was a producer for Channel 4 there. And found that doing the 6 and the 11 news was not floating my boat. And I kept thinking, what do I really want? What really makes me, what do I want to really do? And play-by-play came right to the top. I said, I want to be at the event, calling the event as it happens, because all the preparation and everything that you do is all set up live, ad lib, when that ball gets kicked off.
Yes.
And to me, that's the most challenging thing. And you're there to help the listener or the viewer along and enjoy the experience of a football game. To me, that's sports broadcasting. And I gravitated in that direction. And in the mid 80s, was able to do a couple high school games for nothing. I mean, I did a public broadcasting on a grant from the Ford Motor Company, the high school game of the week on Channel 56 in Detroit. And sitting on top of a press box in the rain and the snow and the wind is blowing your papers everywhere. And yet loving every minute of it. And gravitated my way to doing University of Michigan football on the old cable outlets on TV and then past sports. And then was able to get a job on radio, and then got the Lions in the same way. And at that point, the old saying, if you have a job that you love, you don't work a day in your life. I'm guilty.
Oh, that's so cool. Because I was gonna ask you about getting the coming on pass and the kind of the difference between TV and radio, because and I've got to say I'm a huge fan of your broadcast. I've listened to a lot of college football over the years on different radios across different whether it's IMG or the West Coast, and they're they have the different broadcasting groups that have the rights to broadcast. And you guys, you and Dan, or you and John, or even you and Frank, I think his name was Frank. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Frank, as a matter of fact, Frank just retired after 47 years in the big broadcast.
Wow.
WJR in Detroit. Frank announced his retirement yesterday.
Oh, wow. I hadn't heard that.
Wow.
Yeah.
So,
Frank Beckman.
That's the name.
That's who it was. Frank did Michigan football for 31 years.
Right. Because
I was doing his color with him for a while, but and then he moved over to doing news talk.
Oh, okay.
He's been doing that for the last 18 years.
I gotcha. Because sorry, Lewis, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's okay. You prefer doing radio over to television, I guess that's what you mean, right? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's you know what? It's two different things. And the thing about television, the viewer sees everything.
I know.
So you don't have to be as descriptive in television.
Right.
I'll give you a great example. You guys are too young to remember. Back in the day, a guy named Ray Scott used to broadcast Green Bay Packers football. And back in the day when Bart Starr was the quarterback, I'm much older than you, but these are the guys I grew up on: the Kurt Gowdies and the Keith Jacksons.
Sure.
And then those guys, I grew up with those guys. So the difference is Did you? Well, Louis, then you'll.
I'm not that young as I look.
Well, you're younger than me.
Really not.
But is it Lewis?
Lou is fine. Lou is fine. I shortened Lou in high school, so
Okay,
Lou is fine.
You'll understand that on television, if you look at Ray Scott, he was they call it a minimalist. But I'll give you a call from a Ray Scott call from a Green Bay Super Bowl. Okay, here it is.
Okay.
Star, dollar, Green Bay touchdown.
Plain and simple. I like it.
Because the snap, they showed Star with the ball dropping back. He said Star. He threw it over the middle. Boyd Dollar caught it. Dollar. He ran by two guys into the end zone. Touchdown, Green Bay.
Well, sir,
that's all you needed. That's all you needed as a viewer watching that play. It was beautiful because the crowd noise and everything else took you along. As a radio guy, you got to set that up and let the viewer or let the listener see it.
Yeah.
Star's got the snap. He drops back, looks left, throws over the middle. Dollar's got it to the 15, makes a man miss, cuts inside at the 10. He's at the 5, scores, touchdown.
That could go all the way.
Right, but that's radio. And radio is more challenging because you really have to be more descriptive.
Paint with your
descriptive.
You are the eyeballs of the audience.
Right, right. I like to say that there are times when I like to include locations in my radio. If you've ever been to Michigan Stadium, I like to let you know where the play is. It's like, and he's running down the sideline right in front of the Michigan bench. Well, you know where the Michigan bench is.
Yeah.
So and you can picture that in your mind's eye to see that player running down there. Or he's scoring into the end zone where the flagpole is, or he's at the student end, or he's down the sideline in front of the tunnel. Just a location device gives you as a listener a picture of where that player is on the field. Or he's going right down the hash mark, It's just you got to do that in radio to give the listener a look at it. In television, the listener, the viewer can see it all, so you don't have to be as descriptive.
Well, the one thing I liked about doing, over internet radio, over the television, if you say something or make an ass of yourself, nobody can see it. So I always said that. But it's true.
It is. You're right about that.
Yeah.
The thing is, the worst part is that even though nobody can see you, you made an ass of yourself.
You just like yourself. That's fine, but if the mess doesn't you, that's
usually we are our worst critics.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah, I am.
I can't hardly even watch myself going back and looking at the previous shows. I'm just like, I can't believe I said that out loud.
Yeah, well, that's we all go through that, Adam. Believe me.
And you're a lot like me, sir, because when I was young, I used to take a tape recorder and record myself too. So I'm a lot like you. Being in the 70s, before we all went into CDs and stuff, we used to do our stuff on tape, and sometimes I tell my voice on tape, and other times, why did I even do that?
Yeah. Well, I had a dear friend that was my news director at Channel 25 in Saginaw when I first started. He called me up one day, and I was anchoring the sports, and he goes, "Why don't you use your real voice?" And I go, "What are you talking about?" And he goes, "You sound like you have a cold when you go on."
Oh.
And I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, get it down into your chest. Don't talk up here like that, And so I learned a long time ago, and he was the one that taught me that you drop your voice down a little bit and you start to speak, and you sound like, the Paul Careys and the guys with voices. So
right.
Yeah.
Now it's like second nature, but I had to work at it for a while.
Yeah.
Voice, drop it down there so that it's, I don't know, it's an announcer voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think I discovered my real voice at 15. I think I did. At 15, I think I discovered my real voice.
I didn't discover mine until 21.
21. Wow, I was late.
You were a prodigy.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't really say that. I mean, I did some local work in high school. I did some other stuff from an organization, which is what brought me to this where I am now. Thank goodness. But getting to just the for a minute. Now I know you cover college, but do you have any insight on the pros and like what happened with your Detroit Red Wings or the Pistons this season? I know that they've just started, but do you have any intake on that? Like, will they even carry on with the season much with all the stuff going on?
Yeah, they'll carry on with the season. There's too much. There's too much in this day and age. There's too much television money involved.
Yeah.
In order for them to not do something would be crazy, because all the radio media pays for the rights to broadcast those games. So does television, ESPN, and all the networks.
Yes.
And ultimately, those dollars are what pay the players. And so they will. And it's why the NFL played this past fall.
Right. But where do you
need to have
this year?
Yeah, the NFL doesn't need to have jam-packed stadiums.
No.
What they need to have is great ratings on their television broadcasts, and that money that's generated is what ultimately, is the economic power that turns the NFL's wheel.
Yeah. Of course, Detroit fired Matt Patricia, and I thought that's probably the best move they made in quite a while, because we all know that, well, he's not much of a great coach. I mean, well, for most of us, but what do you think from that decision? Was that the right move?
Yeah, I mean, they were.
He agrees. I like this guy.
They were. I mean, that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at some of their games late, I mean, he came in as a defensive coordinator, as a defensive genius, and that team couldn't play defense after 4 years. I mean, it's not a secret. Now, I don't think I'm being negative, but if you're hired to do a job and your expertise is on the defensive side of the ball, and the defense doesn't get any better, as a matter of fact, it gets worse, then you're probably in that business. It's about winning and losing. It's not about graduating athletes. It's not about building young men. It's about winning football games. Right. And he didn't do that. And that comes with the territory in the National Football League, period. And that's the way it is. So is it the right move? Yeah, they've got to find a way, because the city of Detroit is without question a sleeping giant. If Detroit ever won a Super Bowl, they'd make a Red Wings Stanley Cup parade look like a parade down Ames, Iowa on Memorial Day.
Yeah. Or 4th of July.
It would be off the charts. Big.
Oh, it would be. Absolutely. It would be insane.
Exactly. I mean, you imagine that the oldest team in the league has never won a Super Bowl. That's just amazingly sad.
Lou, I hate that they've never been to a Super Bowl.
That too. Yeah. I didn't want to make that.
I broadcast their games for 31 years, and you'd have thought that I would have at least broadcast a Super Bowl. I got to one NFC Championship game.
I think I recall that.
Was that 91 against Washington, if I'm not mistaken?
You are absolutely correct, Adam.
Yes.
It was what was that? That would have been January of 91, right?
That is correct.
I was -1 at that point.
I was approaching my 21st birthday.
I was 9.
Now you guys are really making me feel old. I got a -1 and a 21-year-old. Bradley, what were you?
I was 9.
That doesn't help me out at all, Bradley.
You look great. You look great.
Yeah.
Well, back in 91, when we thought I didn't think they were good enough to win the Super Bowl, but I thought they'd be more competitive against Washington. But the Redskins that year were just they were a juggernaut. They had they were dogs up front. They had John Riggins. I mean, it was they were very formidable.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a couple more questions before we let you go. So I was reading your bio on your webpage. And so you had done some Michigan golf, the Michigan PGA. Can you talk about that and the difference between calling a golf match versus a football game? It's like a golf match can go all day. Like you tee off at 7:00, and you can if it's a summer match, you can go until 8:00.
Yeah, no, and the golf, I love golf. It's I like to compete. I mean, when I came up as a kid and I played football, basketball, and baseball through high school, and I got to Division I football. I mean, I love to compete. And as you get older, there's few things you can do to really compete. I played racquetball up till I was about mid-40s to mid-50s. But now it's like golf's kind of all you got left. And I love the game, and I picked it up, and I had the opportunity with a good dear friend named Larry Adderley to work with the Michigan Open and the PGA, the Michigan section of the PGA, and go up to the Bear, which is a Jack Nicklaus designed course in Traverse City. And we were able to televise and actually shoot video and do video stories and to send them out to the rest of the stations around the state. And it's kind of like rock and roll. If you're broadcasting, you're singing rock and roll. If you're singing country music, if you're singing classical music, there's a different take on everything that you do. Football is different than basketball. Hockey's different than football. I mean, football is 8 seconds of action, 10 seconds, 9 seconds of action, and then talk in between, a huddle up and let go. Hockey doesn't have that. Basketball doesn't. So golf is more knowing about the player, knowing what the challenges are of the shot that he's on, and where the match is from a standpoint of scoring. If a guy's 3 shots down, you could create a suspense mode by saying he's got to knock this close if he's going to catch the leader. He needs to make birdie here or there to get closer, to put some pressure on that guy. And this is a difficult shot. He's got to hit it 180 yards uphill to a pin that's stuck back left. And then you let the golfer hit it. And the viewer and the listener can actually see it. And at that point, you let the game take over. So that's kind of the difference in golf. Every sport has its own kind of rhythm and its own kind of, the way that it moves. And you've got to move with it as an announcer. You cannot create, as an announcer, the scenario for the game. The game is the thing. Don't ever let yourself get in the way of the game. If you do that as an announcer, I think you're lost.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
You gonna go ahead and ask another question, Brad?
Yeah, I have one more. Jim, what is your take on today's game and how the college football playoff is set up? I know a lot of people are upset when you have Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, the 3 teams that have been in ever since it's been created. What's your take on how they can change it, or is it fine as it is?
I think even if you make it 8 teams, I mean, seriously, even if you make it 8 teams, it's still going to be Alabama, Clemson, and Ohio State, the final 3.
Yeah.
So changing it to 8 isn't necessarily going to change the dynamic of the playoff. What you need to do is maybe, I don't know, they out recruit. They've got the best players. They've got advantages at Alabama, Clemson, and Ohio State that teams like Michigan don't have. Every year, it's like everybody out there is playing for 4th, and it's one year it's Oklahoma. This year it's Notre Dame. Last couple of years it was Oregon. The year before that it was Texas. I mean, somebody's playing for 4th.
Yes.
And it's Alabama, Clemson, and Ohio State kind of is the top 3. So how do you change it? Everybody, as you guys probably well know, and collegiately, everybody's not playing with the same level playing field. And as far as academics and some other things are going on, and admissions to school. Western and Michigan, for instance, have a much different admission policy, and some kids that are absolutely great football players who may have not done a great job in high school grade-wise are not admitted, but they're able to play at a place like Alabama. Notre Dame has a similar situation with their academic standards. So I don't know how you fix it, because the people have asked me about that, and I've said, I'm not sure, as a Michigan guy, and with the great reputation that my university has for academic and athletic excellence, I'm not sure I want to take those standards and lower them. I'm very happy with what we are, who we are, and we'll do the best we can with what we've got. So I don't know. I mean, nowadays college football is changing so rapidly. They're talking about paying players and allowing them to use their images. That's going to change the game fundamentally, I think. Guys are opting out of playing in bowl games. The bowl system is probably at its lowest ebb right now. There's so much change and work to do to keep college football amateur and back to what it used to be. And I don't know whether we'll ever get there.
And I was gonna say that it ebbs and flows, and it's cyclical. Right now, it's Alabama, Ohio State, and Clemson. You know, it wasn't too long ago where Alabama was a basement program.
Yes.
In the early 2000s, nobody was talking about Alabama until Nick Saban got there. They were an 8-4 team at best, and Nick Saban gets there and he gets kids excited and he recruits really well and he gets the best players. Back in the early 2000s, it was Texas and SC that were the best two teams in the country every year. So to change things now,
but it's one of those things where if Saban retires, which nobody says he's going to do real quickly, that's going to probably stay the same. And Dabo Swinney's not going anywhere either.
Right.
So you're looking at that same thing. But again, if you want to include 8 teams in the playoff, that gives you more time and a few more games. But I don't think it ultimately changes the narrative in regards to the top 3 teams always being there.
And then
it would probably be the 5 winners of the Power 5. Then you're going to have 3 at-large bids or something like that. Probably how it would break down. So you would still have Alabama if they won the SEC, which as of right now, even though I live in SEC country in Florida, and Alabama beat the Gators in the SEC title game, who's my team. Then we had a bunch of players opt out against Oklahoma, and we got our butts kicked.
Right.
But I mean, it comes down to until Alabama and Clemson and Ohio State get knocked off their white horses, it's going to be that way. As far as the conferences go.
Remember this real quickly. If Alabama got beat by Florida and they had 1 loss, didn't make the Final Four, don't you think they'd been in the top 8?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
And ultimately, they probably come back and they probably get to the Final Four.
Probably.
Right.
You're giving that's a great scenario, but you're giving Alabama, Clemson, and Ohio State 3 more spots to get to.
And I was going to say that 9 and 10 are going to complain about why not us.
You're exactly right. That's the same thing that happened in the BCS.
Yep.
Yeah. A lot of BS.
There's all kinds of arguments about that. So, hey, it's tough. If even the NCAA basketball tournament, as good as that is, sometimes if you really think about it, that tournament doesn't identify the best team.
No, it doesn't.
It identifies the hottest team, the team that has the best game or the best week. But you know what? That's great theater, and if that's how you want to couch it, fine. If this is a great tournament, but to say at the end of it, I like it that they say this is the NCAA champion, the NCAA tournament champion. That's correct.
Yes.
Because I think sometimes the best team doesn't always win that tournament, but the most NCAA tournament champion is a big deal, and I'm glad they name it that, but not like world champion.
Right.
So
I have one more question before we let you go. Can you talk about the difference between Jim Harbaugh, the player, and Jim Harbaugh, the coach, in terms of like interviewing him and having media commitments?
I think that it's part of the coaching. I think part of the coaching business is automatically being paranoid. And as a player, I don't think you're as paranoid. You're just out there having fun doing your thing. The one thing that is the same exact thing about him from when he was a player to when he was a coach. He is ultra uber competitive. I mean, he'll play nickels against the in the concrete. I mean, he'll fight you in everything you got. He does that as a coach too. From a media standpoint, he is much more guarded. But I think every coach is to some degree. When and I don't know what it is that does that, but it's just, maybe it's part of the profession that somehow you feel you've got to be more guarded and keep your cards real close to your vest, as opposed to, because maybe they've gotten burned before. He's been burned at San Francisco a couple of times, gotten some bad press, things like that. So maybe that's the reason. But from a standpoint of what they were as a player and what he is as a coach, both very, very competitive. And I think Jim is one of those guys that is trying to find a way to make it happen, to make it work. And he did that when he was a player. Same way. I mean, he stared down blitzes. He ran the option. I wouldn't call him a great runner, a fast guy like Denard Robinson, and yet he was able to run the option. They ran wishbone with him. He would do anything in order to win. If you go back and look, there was some wishbone, there was some option, there was some drop back, pro style looking offenses. Jim ran it all, and he loved the idea of competing and doing it any way that they wanted him to do it, as long as it got him to a victory. So I don't know whether that answers your question.
I just kind of because I know you interviewed him back in the mid '80s, or at least I assumed you did, and I was just kind of how did he compare then to now, and was he more fun to interview back then or now? Because I know you do the Coach's Corner and you do Inside Michigan Football, a great program. You should all check it out. And sitting down with him as a coach versus sitting down with him as a player, and
I think, Adam, the thing you got to remember is all of us were different when we were 19 and 20 years old and playing football. True. And Jim interviewing him as a quarterback at 18, 19, 20, 21 years old was a whole lot different than interviewing him as a coach where he's in charge of an entire, 120 guys. So it is different. And he was a little bit more naive as a player. And we all are when we're young, he was a bit of a smart ass.
I was going to ask you, it's been, 30, 40 years since he was a player, and I was kind of was curious about that evolution of him as a player, going from being a player to playing in the NFL to playing, to coaching, and then, coaching at...
Well, the leadership aspect of it remains the same, because as a quarterback, you're leading an offense. As a coach, you're leading an entire group of kids. You're leading an offense and a defense. You're leading a group of assistant coaches. And you've got to be the guy that, orchestrates the entire process. And that's a whole lot different than looking at a defense coming up to the line of scrimmage and so this play will work or this play won't work. As a head coach, you're looking at the entire, and I'm talking about academics and making sure that the kids are doing the right thing from a workout standpoint and a strength and conditioning standpoint. To the plays that they run, to making sure that the best players out there to give you the best chance to win are on the field. All that stuff is what a coach does. A quarterback, as much as they've got to do during a game, head coach has got to do a whole lot more.
I think you have one more question, Brad, before we let him go.
Yeah, Jim. Again, as an announcer, I have to ask this question. Can you give us the greatest game you've ever called, the worst game you've ever called? If you have one. I know that's a tough question from all the years you've been play guy, but is there one in particular that you can bring out as a great or a worst or both?
Let me answer that question the way I answer it to everybody that I see. I played for a guy named Bo Schembechler, okay? And Schembechler's comments to us as a player was, you either get better or you get worse, but you never stay the same. Because if you base your entire playing career and what you do on every snap as being better than you were the previous snap, that's what I want you to worry about. If you're just as good as you were, then you didn't get any better. And my comment to that question is, I have not done my best game yet. It's out there somewhere. Still. And I don't want to think that I've ever done that perfect game, because I haven't. And if I think I have, then I'm not trying to get better. And that to me is, it sounds corny and it sounds trite, you know what I mean? But the reality of life is that's how I've got to think about it. I've got to get better every game, every week, every play. And if I do that, then somewhere I'll get close, but I won't be perfect. The worst one, take any one of them. There's a lot of them out there.
Yeah.
And the best one, I haven't got that one yet.
Fair enough. Okay. I appreciate that.
Well, thank you for your time.
Yes, sir.
Adam,
Thank-
good to be with you, Lou. Brad,
Yes.
good to be with you guys.
Yeah, we'll have to have you. You got a couple of books out there. You wanna plug those real quick?
Yeah. I got a couple of books called Tales from Michigan Stadium, Volumes 1 and 2. I have a podcast also that I do a thing called Conversations With, and I just talk to people and my friends that are in the business. I've got Matt Millen.
Cool.
It's called thebrandyshow.com. You can get it there. And it's on all your podcast platforms. And I just have conversations. I had a conversation with Jamie Morris this year.
Oh, cool.
It's sports, but it's also other things. I did a year ago. I did the one of the Michigan regents, Andrea Fisher Newman.
Okay.
About hiring a coach and the process of that, doing that. Did Mickey Redmond, one of the great broadcasters of hockey.
One of my personal favorites.
Right, this year. So I've done a lot of guys. I find that podcasts are interesting because they're up there forever. And I know they're topical. And if you do something that in 2 weeks is old and it's still up there on the internet, if somebody goes back and listens to it, they're going, wait a minute, that's old. That's old news. So I want to do something that you could listen to that I did a year ago that's still current, that's still, that still has life. In the broadcasting business, sometimes they call that evergreen. And so I've done 25 episodes, and like with Greg Harden and some other guys, and they're up there, and they're just in conversations with people I know, friends I know. And I think I elicit some pretty interesting stories and information, and that's kind of what I've been doing of late. Is this little podcast, and it kind of keeps me busy. Besides the football season,
of course.
Yeah.
And I know you
a live show or no?
No, it's on tape. And I'm sorry, it's one of those things where to get everybody that I want to get, it's hard to get them up live. But what I do is record them. And we do most of them are about an hour or less. I'm one of the believers that if you have a show, you want the listener or the viewer to always, when it's over, say, God, I wish there was more.
Yeah.
And so I do 45, 50 minutes with everybody, and then let it go. And it's so far, it's been pretty good. I think I've liked the work that I've done on these shows. And I've enjoyed the conversations I've had.
That's awesome. And I know your wife has a charity for horses.
Yes, she does. It's called Canter, Canter. What they do is they rescue thoroughbreds off the track that are non-competitive, and they retrain them, and they rehome them, and give them new careers. Some of them 3, 4, 5 years old that can't win any money. They'll make them dressage horses or hunter jumpers.
Oh, cool.
And the horse goes off to a second career. She's been heavily involved in that since her retirement. So, and she's got a book out too called Tui and the Goat.
Okay. Is that a children's book?
And if you want I'll give you my announcer voice. It's available on any Amazon platform.
Is that a children's book?
It's a children's and adult book. I mean, anybody from 9 years old on up to adult. It's a great story.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And your
say again, Lou?
Order your copy today. That's my
order your copy today
from fine retailers around the country.
Right, and if I was like a normal guy on these things, I'd go, and there's more.
Oh wait, there's more.
Yeah,
and you have
if you order now, you get a free bottle of ketchup.
A whole bottle?
A whole bottle.
Is it unopened?
Free as well. Oh no.
Anyway, thanks, guys. I appreciate this. This has been fun.
It's been a blast.
Yeah,
Yes.
great format and great show going on.
Yep.
Thank
And your website is jimbrandstatter.com, correct?
JimBrandstatter.com. That is correct. And thebrandyshow.com. Both of those, you can get to the website both of those ways.
Thank you very much for coming on the show.
You can get to the podcast.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me, guys. We'll talk.
Yeah.
Sorry about the
Thank you,
beginning.
sir.
But
It's okay.
All good.
for some reason,
That's
my
excellent.
laptop didn't want to let the mic and camera work.
That's no big deal. We were able to get you on the show, and I had a blast, and we'll have to have you back on again sometime soon.
Appreciate it, Adam. You guys take care now.
Yeah, have a good night.
You too, sir.
Bye-bye.
Guys,
Wow.
doing interviews is awesome. And then when you have a guy who usually interviews only last 20 minutes, guys, that's almost an hour, by the way.
I know.
I'll
I
put
kept
my
trying
whole
to let-
keep going. I'm like, maybe we'll just have him on for the full 2 hours.
I was kind of trying to, I wanted to let him exit graciously and just kind of kept feeding him, let him plug his book, let him plug his wife's charity. And I was like, this is awesome. That was incredible. That was incredible.
That was great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, what the hell? Jesus, that was great. Awesome.
Yeah.
That was awesome. That was totally awesome.
I am on cloud 9. I can't wait to go to work tomorrow now. I've been dying. Ever since he got him to agree on Monday, I've been talking to all my friends about it, telling them like, I got this podcast, if you're in sports, come check us out. It's going to be on my Facebook page, and I'll find it through you, Brad. And I've been so amped, and he was a gracious interview, and it was so much fun.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, obviously now we can move on.
We can move on, or we can keep talking about it for an hour.
As you can see, the background behind me has magically changed to another logo. So it looks like I'm looking at the scoreboard. The Capitals are up 4-2 after 2 over Buffalo.
Okay.
Boston's up 1-0 after 2. The Islanders are up 4-0 over the Rangers after 2. Carolina's up 1-0 over the Wings. They're in the second.
Boo. I got that game on.
Nashville,
I found the Ranger game.
Columbus, are 1-0, and then Calgary and Winnipeg are in the end of the first 3-1 Flames. Then, of course, the Dallas-Florida game got postponed. I think the Dallas Stars are in deep trouble with their
they've got like 17 players.
with their COVID issues. So,
well, I heard something interesting. Well, kind of sad and interesting at the same time. That during the camp, 27 players did test positive, and 17 of them were from the Dallas Stars.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I was alluding to. That they had 17 players that had tested positive.
well, I mean, so did you guys get a chance to kind of overview what games were last night?
I watched the national broadcast. I watched I watched the second half of the first game because I didn't realize it was on until I got home and was making dinner and working and doing stuff around the house. But I watched the second half of that game, and I still hate Pittsburgh.
Pens Flyers. Well, they won 6-3, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
The Flyers won 6-3 in that game. So
I only begrudgingly root for for Philly because it was Pittsburgh.
Right. Well, for me, I don't know. I mean, the lesser of two evils, because the Flyers, or we say the Liars, whatever. Being in the same division as the Rangers, and Pittsburgh. Since Lemieux, I couldn't even stand him. So it was trying to think. The lesser of the two evils. Well, I think Pittsburgh is the lesser of the two evils. So I'm gonna have to go with Pittsburgh.
I hate Crosby.
And then we were talking before Jim came on about Toronto and Montreal. That should be interesting because those two teams don't like each other.
They're gonna play what?
Original six matchup.
They're gonna play what? 15, 16, 17 times this year?
Yes.
They're gonna play a lot. You're gonna see a lot of them playing each other. Like I said, you could talk about my team starting off with a 5-1 win again. It's a young Blackhawks team that doesn't have Jonathan Tate is probably going to be out for the year. I don't see much from Chicago this year. But I think we left off we came back where we left off. We were dominated in the Stanley Cup that game, and we came right out and did the exact same thing.
As you should.
Yes.
And we don't have Kucherov, so imagine if we had him. So that's
is he on the shelf? Is he out hurt?
Yeah, he has hip surgery over the offseason. He's not going to be. You'll see him in the playoffs possibly, but you won't see him at all.
He's got one of those 4 to 6 month kind of surgeries.
Correct. Yep. And it was Vancouver beat Edmonton 5-3. They need help. Edmonton needs help. Connor McDavid has friends in Edmonton, and then of course I was surprised that the Avalanche St. Louis. What's that? Gretzky. That's right. Gretzky's got to go back.
Yes.
To Edmonton. And then St. Louis beat the Avalanche 4-1.
No, I didn't see how like I was saying before we had Jim on. I fell asleep before that game even started. So
yeah.
I passed out at like 10:30 last night.
Yeah. Well, they were reading about the Avalanche this year in preseason, thinking they're going to be a strong team this year. It's a little hard to tell. Besides, you can't tell.
Yeah. And of course, like we were talking about the NBA a week and a half ago, it's only game 1.
Yeah.
You can afford a game. You can afford to lose a game early in the season.
Of course.
Of course, talk to me in a week. I'm not saying, there's a lot of things that you can learn from week 1. Just like with the Lightning continuing to roll. Yes. I know they were playing a weakened Blackhawks team, but then those are the games where you'd be a lot more concerned if they had a loss 2-1 as opposed to winning 5-1.
Yeah.
Correct. So again, it's game 1 of 56. We got a long way to go. I mean, if we look back and it's game 55 and the Avalanche are still struggling, then we'll talk about that. But again,
right.
I don't
even game 30. I don't think we have to go that far. Like game 30, if they're a game or two below 500, then we'll start to say,
right, exactly, yeah. It's still a young season, and anything can happen. Again, that's why they play the games. We can sit here and talk and go, this team's going to win the Stanley Cup. Well, we don't know what's going to happen a month from now. So there you go. Yep.
There's 31 teams. There's 31 fan bases.
Correct.
That have if you're a good fan, let's put it that way.
Right.
You have to believe your team's going to win the Stanley Cup. Yeah. I believe this Red Wings team can win the Stanley Cup. Will they? Don't know. That's why we're going to play the games. Can they? Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. Will they? That's another story.
Will they? Probably not. But hey, I'm not a Red Wing. I'm a Red Wings fan, not Red Wings fan, whatever that would be.
Right.
Well, there are some people that only cheer for their team when they win. After that, they don't care.
Weather fans. That's what they're called.
Yeah. And all those people that actively root against their team when their team isn't really good and would rather see them lose to get a better draft pick. I'm like, I'd rather see us win. Are we going to win 56 games and go undefeated and win 16 games, win Stanley Cup, be the first undefeated team in hockey? No, but I want to win. You got, you got to.
It's like in a 48-game season.
Well, would you guys be happy if your team finished 500? Let's say they finished 28.
Yeah, I would be. I could live with that. Especially with as maligned as this team has been over the last couple of years, getting back to 500. It depends on where we're at in 36 games. Because if we're at 18-18 after 36 games, then 500 is all right. But if we're 26 and 16 or somewhere in there, and we only finish 500, that'll be disappointing. And if we're 10 and 26 after 36 games and we only finish 500, that'll be disappointing too.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. Well, the next topic up will be the logo that's now behind me again. Again, if you see the pixels to my this way,
it's on your
way.
left.
What's going to happen, Lewis, is I ordered a camera a high definition camera. So the next show we do on Thursday, you won't see those pixels anymore. I fixed it. I have a camera on its way, so you won't see that anymore. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the logos as we talk. So if you see a change, then you kind of know what we're talking about. And so obviously, if you can't see behind my big head, it does say NASCAR, since you can't see behind my big head. So this is a topic that Adam is more knowledgeable than I am at this. So the schedule's out. So it starts February 9th, which, again, that is only a couple weeks away, about 3 weeks away.
Yep. We're 2 weeks.
2 weeks away? Okay.
No, a month. I meant to say a month away from the Daytona 500 today. The Daytona 500 is on February 14th.
Yes. Valentine's Day. It's on Valentine's Day. Okay. Because it says Bud Clash at Daytona Road Course on February 9th. Yeah,
this is the Tuesday before Daytona, before the 500. And then Thursday will be the twin 150s. And then the Daytona 500 is on the 14th, as we said, because I'm done.
And then it's the other Florida course, and it's at Homestead.
Yep.
And then it's Auto Club. That ends the month of February.
Well, not Auto Club. I think it's Las Vegas.
Vegas they have Vegas March 7th. Is what they have.
What's that? Auto Club was removed from the schedule to make. The Auto Club was removed, and they're going somewhere else. It's not Auto Club anymore.
Okay.
I forget where they're going. I think they're going to they're
because they have Homestead on the 21st, and then the 28th it says Auto Club is where it's.
Auto Club was removed from the schedule to go somewhere else, and I thought it was a.
Because they have Vegas on the 7th, and then they have Phoenix, Atlanta, and Bristol. That's the month of March.
Right. I know Auto Club was removed.
And then it's Martinsville, Richmond, Talladega in April. And then May is Kansas, Darlington, Dover. Circuit of Americas and Charlotte is in May. Then Sonoma, the All-Star race in Texas. Nashville, 2 races in Pocono on back-to-back days. Road America, July 4th. And then Atlanta, New Hampshire, Watkins Glen, Indianapolis, Michigan, Daytona on the 28th. Darlington, Richmond, Bristol, Vegas, Talladega, Charlotte, Texas, Kansas, Martinsville. And then they end the season in Phoenix on November 7th. So a week after Halloween, they'll be ending NASCAR. Is that when they did last year too? Did they end the season?
Right around there, yeah. Okay. Right around there, a week after Halloween. Yep.
Is that the norm? Do they normally end that late, or
usually they run.
Okay.
Okay, so it was. Homestead is the second weekend, the second race this year, which is bumping Auto Club, and then they're going to Vegas.
Oh, okay.
On March 7th. Yep.
I guess
I thought.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought that Okay, so it's saying here on Nats they're actually going to go to the Daytona Road Course. Okay, sorry, I'm the Daytona Road Course is bumping Auto Club because Auto Club can't have fans.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
I knew there was a scheduling change, and I couldn't remember. I knew Auto Club was out, but I couldn't remember what was put. I knew it was a Florida track. And I realized it was the road course, the Daytona Road Course.
Okay. And again, but now you said that next year they're changing cars, right? This is the last year of the current vehicle.
For the Gen 6 car. This is the last, and the next Gen car will roll off. It's scheduled for the Daytona 500 next year. I believe it will make its debut in competition at the Clash next year. The way I understand it. There was lots of silly season news over the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks. All your favorites are staying where they were, or most all of them. Jamie Johnson, of course, retiring, and Alex Bowman taking over that ride, and Kyle Larson coming back, which I alluded to at the end of last week's show. Right now, he doesn't have any announced primary sponsors. I don't expect them to have any announced primary sponsors until the Bristol Dirt Race at the earliest. I expect him to have a one-off at Bristol because I expect him to be the odds-on favorite to win that race.
Yes.
We got a fight in the wings game here. because he's a very talented dirt racer. We got a big dirt race coming up this weekend with the Chili Bowl.
Okay.
The Chili Bowl. Okay.
Yeah.
As if there were enough weird bowl games, now we have the Chili Bowl.
Yeah. Which is not a football game, but a car race.
Right. Anything for a sponsor.
Yep.
They've been doing it for some 50 or 60 years, so.
Yeah, I know, but still.
Yep.
Can't be anyone the Idaho Potato Bowl or whatnot.
I like those. I like those made for TV bowls.
Yeah.
I just like more football.
Or
give me more football. I'm okay with it.
Or the Grasparilla. I actually prefer a sarsaparilla, but
Would that be a root beer?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. All right. So that is NASCAR, guys. There. So the article that caught my attention about UFC is Dana White is trying his damnedest to get Khabib to come back for one more fight.
Again.
And it looks like he's trying to get, because Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier are going to fight on the 23rd, which I think is
next week.
Next Saturday.
Yeah.
So that's the main event at UFC 257. I don't know if he's trying to get Khabib to come back. Say Conor wins that fight to come back to have a big pay-per-view in February, because I know that those two don't like each other.
Right.
I know Khabib and McGregor don't like each other at all.
No.
Have they fought twice already, or just
one? I believe they've had 2 fights. If I remember right.
Once.
As each has won a fight, right?
I thought Khabib's won both of them. I believe so.
Okay. So that was something that caught my attention that I wanted to talk about was he's trying to get Khabib to come out of retirement to one more fight. Again, we were just talking about NASCAR and money talks, guys.
Absolutely.
Money talks. So we'll see. I'm just curious myself how that's going.
I would with McGregor fighting next week. Generally speaking, they want you to have three months off before your next fight.
Yeah.
So I couldn't imagine them going in February. So I think the earliest this fight would probably be April, late March, but most likely sometime in the summer if he can get it done.
Yes.
If he can get it done. Yeah, no, I agree with that.
From what from the little bit I've dabbled in the fight game and talking to some of the fighters that I know. Yeah, usually they want you to have 3. It's not like it was back in the day where you could go if you wanted to go every night. They were okay. Knock yourself silly, kid. Have fun.
Yeah.
That CTE came into the picture after that, so that's why that kind of stopped. Yep.
There's too many people dying in the ring. Weekend, you have a fight on Saturday, you have a fight on Wednesday, you have a fight on Friday, and then take 2 days off, heal up, and then fight again on Monday. And you had too many kids getting killed and dying in the ring, fighting too much, and you fight on you train all week, you fight on Saturday, and it's not the fight on Saturday that gets you.
No,
it's the 1,000 paper cuts you take in the gym on Monday through Friday. You're in the gym 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, and you're sparring, and you're going over, you're doing your footwork, bag, and then you spar, and you do footwork, bag, spar, run, footwork, bag, spar, run, and it all adds up. And then you go and you have a fight, and you've been knocked in the head 1,000 times before the fight even starts.
It only takes one to do it.
Yep.
Do serious damage.
It's not, and it's not so much the one that gets you in the fight that gets you. It's all the ones from training stacked on top, and it looks like the one in the fight that gets you. It's a series of events that ends up getting you. You know what I mean?
I mean, because there was a lot of talk about boxing back, in the day, and there have been some boxers that die in the ring, and they were wondering, what should we do with boxing? Should we keep it going? Should we ban it? Because there were a few instances back when I was young that some boxers did die during the bout after a serious blow.
Yep.
Scary.
Well, wasn't it? Speaking of boxing, didn't Ray Boom Boom Mancini have one of his fighters die in the ring?
Yes.
I think every year. I think I have a friend of my best friend. His dad is an absolute big Ray Boom Boom Mancini fan, and something about him. And he said that every year on the anniversary of that fight, Boom Boom takes like 2 weeks of solitude. He doesn't see anybody. He doesn't talk to anybody because every year he's reminded of that kid dying in the ring.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I mean, that's exactly right. You don't want to have your athletes die because you have to pay for everything. You don't want to have your athletes die, and then it makes your brain look bad.
My favorite players growing up. Boom Boom.
Yeah, Ray Boom Boom Mancini.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, let me move on. I don't see this logo very often, but it caught my attention this afternoon. I'm gonna bring it up. Major League Soccer. I don't talk about soccer very often, but I figure we need to bring it on the show every once in a while because I'm sure there are soccer fans out there. Lewis is one of them. So this is Don Garber, who's optimistic about the league starting up. Again, they lost $100 million last year. That sucks because of COVID. They're optimistic about the vaccine, but they're looking summertime and a normal season for the league. So let's hope that happens for Major League Soccer.
Yes.
Lewis, what is your opinion on that? I mean, I don't know much about the game, so you know more about that than I would.
Garber's a commissioner, I know.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, only 100 million. Well, I was comparing to some of the other leagues you're saying because when I heard about that schmuck Gary Bettman who does the NHL, I can't stand that. But, he says the league is expected to lose billions of dollars, not just hundreds of millions, but billions. So, that's small price compared to what the NHL is expected to lose. I mean, the MLS did have a tournament when they came back from the pandemic. Actually, they were the first of the leagues to come back, and then they went with the regular season right away. They didn't wait 3-4 months like everybody else, well, except for football. But they didn't wait like the NHL and the NBA and baseball, which that season was like tarnished completely.
Yeah,
so,
that was a joke.
Yeah, it was. So MLS doesn't have a huge following, but it has a loyal following that has kept going for the last 25 years. I remember when the first games were being played. That's one of their original fans. And but Garber seems optimistic for I think I can agree with because I think soccer, it has a huge following in the country. Also, with youth leagues and college leagues that help drive the sport's popularity. So I see it. I don't see it dying by any means. Not like the leagues back in the '80s, like the NASL, which should have lasted longer. But I do see it. There is still potential for this league. I mean, it's gone this far.
Lewis, correct me if I'm wrong. They were in the bubble in Orlando, right, with NBA, right? They were playing Disney too, right? I thought that's what I heard.
Well, not exactly at Disney, but near there. I mean, MLS was outside, NBA was inside, and they didn't actually collide with each other because by the time the NBA season started, the MLS season was over. So they didn't collide.
Okay, cool. Well,
that would have been a disaster.
I'll be looking for more stuff as we get closer. If anything, if they announce when they're going to start their season, I definitely will bring this back because, like I said, I don't talk a lot of soccer. I guess we need to start involving more sports in here. So that one definitely
I cover up our show as well.
Yeah. So definitely in the future, guys, anyone that's a new listener or has been here with us since this started, we are going to be talking soccer. And if you hate us, then hate us because that's, what people do. Anyway, moving on. All right. So here's a topic that I'm a little bit more into than you two gentlemen. It was kind of cool to hear Jim say he loved golf. I got to get props for that.
You know what?
That was cool.
Well, hold on. Now, he was comparing football to golf. For a minute there, I thought we were going to go into that Miller Lite commercial, full contact golf. Oh, no. Here's a tee, and it's blocked. Oh, no.
But yeah, there's one of these is is talking about Augusta National allowing limited patrons for the 2021 Masters. So there will be people there.
Pretty good.
Again,
Better than nothing.
It's supposed to be in April, the 5th through the 11th, and of course Dustin Johnson, who won it last year, is a defending champion. And as if you guys do not know, the champ gets to pick the dinner. So I don't know what he's going to pick.
I'd be curious to hear what he picked.
So it will be. I'll find out. We get close to the tournament. I'll find out what the pick is. But they get to pick. The champion gets to pick the champion's dinner. So that's pretty cool. Yep. Every year.
That would be so cool.
Because when Tiger won his first. The next year he had hamburgers, cheeseburgers, vanilla and chocolate milkshakes, and French fries. That's what his pick was. So you can have anything you want. So there's been like people that are not from the U.S. that pick their meals from their countries. So again, it just depends. It just depends on what you want, because you can pick. It's your choice. So I mean,
for us.
Let me ask you this, guys. What would you guys pick? I'll ask that question. What would you guys pick for dinner?
I love this question. This is one of my favorite questions. It depends on who who is cooking it, because like that would be so cool to get like Chef Ramsay or Bobby Flay or somebody like that to come in and cook and just let them go buck wild and make something off the wall, not like sheep's brain or something weird, but just let them have fun and let their creativity and let them create a menu and have like a 3-course, an appetizer, an entree, and a dessert, and just let them go crazy. And that would be kind of what my like if there's no budget, if there's no limit on the spending, I think I'd see if I could get some one of those world famous chefs to come in and cook, just go crazy, have fun, make us something delicious. That'd be my choice.
Lewis?
This burger happens you wrong. You can't expect me to serve this. I was just my dog. Thank you very much. Get out. You had to be going around. You had to mention it. But when you say that, I have to go in with it.
That's fair. That's fair.
Back in line.
Rubbish.
He's not afraid to drop the F-bomb on anybody.
No. I'll be calm though. I'll be a gentleman here.
Yeah, no.
I like Tiger's pick. Nothing. It's cheeseburger. So I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind my little pasta and shrimp though myself.
There you go. Okay.
That's cool.
Okay. So that would be again. That's the pick. Me personally, I would probably pick some Italian dish. I love Italian food, so I would probably pick an Italian dish.
Right.
I mean, if you want to go plain Jane, spaghetti and meatballs, I don't think anyone would hate on that. Nope. I guess unless someone's vegetarian or they're not, or they're, your religion and stuff like that, you don't eat meat, that's on you, but that's a whole different story.
Spaghetti and meatballs is so easy to screw up. It's spaghetti and meatballs, and it's just hamburger meat and ketchup over boxed noodles.
Mm-hmm.
Ketchup? No.
Hey, we get that free bottle of ketchup there that Jim was offering. And that's what they call in the business a callback.
Yeah. So the other story, guys, I had up here was, this is more political. I saw that. Donald Trump's Turnberry course will not be hosting the British Open. It looks like the RNA has announced that they are not going to have the tournament there. The PGA Tour already pulled the PGA Championship off his course in New Jersey, at Bedminster. Which, how far are you away, Lewis, from Bedminster, New Jersey?
Half an hour.
Half an hour. Okay. So again, because of the attacks on the U.S. Capitol, and I'm not getting into that political stuff on here. That's not my cup of tea, and I'm not arguing with people about politics. We could sit here till we're blue in the face, because that's not going to happen.
I'm just gonna sum it up real quick. It's their prerogative. If they don't want to do it, that's fine.
Right.
And
that's on them.
Whatever.
I agree. Right. Yep. I agree with that. Yeah, I totally agree. It's their golf course. They can do what they want. They can make
their golf tournament. So if they don't want If they don't want to host it there, oh well.
Yeah,
and moving on.
See me when I whack you with a 5-iron though.
No. To get whacked with a 5-iron, you gotta be married to Tiger.
Oh.
No, or marry the Tiger's wife.
Yeah.
Which one?
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, he had a lot. He had a lot of mistresses out there.
Or was that a 9? Was that a 9-iron? I'm not sure.
It wasn't. Yeah, I think it was 9. You're right.
So the next guys is MLB and the lovely commissioner, Mr. Rob.
Uncle Rob.
He plans on starting spring training on time, and they're going to try to get in 162 games. I don't know how the world
are a clown.
I don't know.
Spring training's supposed to be scheduled to start the 27th of February. Opening day is slated for April Fool's Day, the 1st.
Yeah, I'm going to wake up on April 1st, and there ain't going to be any baseball. Ha! Fooled ya!
Yeah, April Fool's Day, sure.
It says players receive only 37% of their salaries during last year.
I ain't playing for that. I'll opt out.
Yeah. Well, that was last year, and it's currently not known who will allow fans in the games. No tickets for spring training contests in Arizona and Florida have been sold. So, again, this was off of Score, an app that I have on my phone. I caught this, and I wanted to I don't see how they're going to play it with COVID still being rampant. How in the world are you going to play 162 game season?
They won't. I'm gonna say this in the most work friendly way I can.
Yeah.
You can take a flying fornication at a rolling round pastry.
Okay.
Fair enough.
And then you ask your dad to explain that to you if you don't get it.
Yeah. Fair enough. So
maybe that uncle that nobody really likes to have around, he might be able to explain it for you.
It's okay.
I don't see how in the world.
No, it's not gonna happen. I can see 114 games starting in maybe early May with no fans in attendance. Mm-hmm. That could happen.
Yes,
but with the way the MLB, the NBA is, where the NHL already got a game canceled tomorrow. Yep. 2 games now.
Yes.
Good Lord, they should have canceled
the Dallas game got canceled today. That was supposed to happen today. That already got canceled. Okay. So
I thought that was supposed to happen tomorrow.
Yep.
I was thinking that was the game that was tomorrow that got canceled. And the NBA is canceling games left, right, and center. So is college basketball and college hockey are canceling games.
College hockey too, huh?
Yeah. We were looking at that last week, that there have been a handful of cancellations before the games even started, before they came back from their holidays.
But the NBA is, got some new protocols out. Close off the hotel rooms to what's called non-hotel guests. They're cracking down on socialization like after the game. But see, the problem is that they know that there's stuff out there, but they're just not listening. That's no problem right there.
They just don't care.
Because they don't give a rat's ass or a cat's ass.
No, they don't.
Yes, but the NBA put a ban on you don't go to like the bars, the nightclubs, or strip joint to have chicken wings and like
no. No. And these are we're expecting grown children to act like adults and take responsibility. And I see you've switched the NBA and I look at James Harden, who is just a spoiled child.
Yeah.
He's a spoiled child. He doesn't have any care. He doesn't care that
that's Kyrie doesn't care.
He doesn't care that people are getting sick and dying. He wants to go do what he's going to do. And there are far too many people that think just like him. Doesn't matter. I'm not going to get sick. I'm not going to die. If I get sick, no big deal. Who cares?
That's exactly what some other players say. Like, well, if I get, I don't care. I was like, I mean, you think your fans, think your family, like you don't care.
Yeah,
you don't care.
And think about, and it's not just about the a team losing a player, let's say that they're, that they recover no problem, right? No complications, no lifelong lasting effects. They're fine, right? But what about the people that they could infect that may not have the luxury of being an all-star NBA player with a healthy immune system and millions of dollars to go to see the best doctors in the world?
Yeah.
Just gonna say top-notch medical care too. Coming to you.
DeMarcus Cousins said that if I get, I don't really care. Well, you should.
It's not just about you. I know as much as it's become a cliche, we are all in this together. This virus doesn't care whether you're rich, you're poor, you're young, you're old. If it's going to kill you, it will kill you. And if it doesn't kill you, it just may kill somebody you care about.
It's kind of like when AIDS was first discovered,
Yeah.
How that was first started, and it was a lot worse than it is now, of course, But people were back in the early days, they were dying from it left and right, and but there was also a lot of myths that were surrounding it. Everything. Oh, if I come in contact with this person, I'm going to get it. No, that wasn't how it was. I mean, this is a little bit different though. With this,
you can come into contact with somebody and get it. This is the thing about this virus, and it's about how it's true. Almost every virus is that if you come into contact with somebody, you could potentially get it. You don't have to do anything special. You don't have to have an open wound like with AIDS, where you were really required to come in contact with somebody that had the infection. You had to get caught. They had to get caught, and your blood you had to get the infection inside of you. See, AIDS was never airborne, so you couldn't just sneeze AIDS on someone, and not to be morbid or disgusting or inappropriate, and not to downplay AIDS or anything. AIDS is a very serious illness, and you need to treat it and use protection and be responsible and don't use dirty needles and all the other PSAs that you've been hearing for the last 30 years. Just don't do drugs, kids.
Yes, there you go. Well said.
With the virus we're dealing with now, you don't have to be direct contact with an infected person. You can be adjacent to a person, and especially somebody who doesn't know they're sick. You can cough or sneeze or blow your nose or spit on the ground or any of our other handful of other just breathing. And you can infect somebody who can infect somebody who can infect somebody. It could be 10 people down the line, and it's somebody's grandma, it's somebody's elderly mother, it's somebody's kid that they didn't know they had a heart condition. Yep. They have a heart condition and they drop dead, and now you'll never know that it was you that were responsible for that.
My niece caught it a few weeks ago.
This girlfriend's family all has it now, and it's terrifying. Her parents are elderly. She's got it. She's not exactly a young one. And
my sister has it. She got it tested positive today.
Yeah, so my girlfriend tested positive today. Yeah. And it's very touch and go,
Yeah.
You don't know what's gonna happen. They could all be fine. Or I could lose all of them. I don't know, and I don't really want to take the chance. So can we all just grow up and be responsible adults?
Yep. Well, I mean, we can be. It just depends on everyone else being that way.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring up the Harden thing. There you go. Someone who grew up in Houston, cried his way out of it, came into camp out of shape. He got his wish. Yep. He got traded out of there. He's in Brooklyn now, and there's been a lot of players that have been traded around, but I mean, and now what happens too if he goes to Brooklyn and they don't win a championship either? Then what happens? Kyrie doesn't like it. KD doesn't get along. Then what do? Now you've destroyed not one but two teams.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. I mean, again, to me, we were also. I think we talked last year about Chris Paul, or I talked to somebody about that. I said, "Hey, what's up with him? Why is he on different teams every year, every other year?" And someone told me that he's not the greatest teammate. Chris Paul is not the greatest teammate. So that's why I'm just saying, is that James Harden too? Because it seems like wherever he goes, after a while, he goes somewhere else, and it starts all over again. So I don't know. I'm not a big NBA guy, so I can't tell you exactly. Yeah. So,
in my opinion, and I've said as much, is the Rockets got a king's ransom for a court jester.
Yes.
Yep.
He does.
He's a clown. He's an absolute clown. All he cares about is getting his. He doesn't play defense. He's not a good teammate. He's not a good person.
Yep.
And he acts like a fool. And all he does is cry and whine.
Kind of like Tom Brady. Oh boy.
But he doesn't have the accolades to back it up.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the career numbers. You don't get to be a prima donna crybaby if you can't put up the numbers. When the chips are down and it's crunch time. And it really matters, especially like in the Western Conference Finals against Curry.
Yeah.
You can't get it done. Whether it was in Oklahoma, whether it was in Houston, didn't matter. Didn't matter who his teammates were. Whether it was CP3 or it was Durant, they couldn't get it done.
Yeah.
Well, think about this. They had Westbrook, Durant, and himself in Oklahoma, and they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Nope.
And then him and Westbrook and CP3 in Houston.
I don't think Harden, KD, and Irving are going to bring a championship to Brooklyn. At least not in the near future. One thing, Irving doesn't care. Excuse me, I got to go party with Drake in Toronto, so I'll see you. And he says I need some personal time. Yeah, you want a party time, not personal time, you dimwit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was so distracted by everything going on in the world. But Drake called me. Yeah, I'll make it for the party night. Sure, we'll do some jamming and whatnot. You're not thinking about your teammates or yourself.
All you're thinking about is yourself,
not your teammates or anything else. And you think they're gonna want you back soon? I don't know. So, and Harden's kind of out of shape, so I'm over with that. I was a little bit skeptical, about this trade and him coming over to Brooklyn. Everybody thinks it's going to be, they're going to be a super team now, and they'll make themselves, contenders for the NBA championship. No. Well, at least not now. Maybe in another 2-3 years, maybe they'll make some significant progress and maybe make it to a conference final, but this year, no, they're a long way from that. Harden's got to get himself in shape. Kyrie's got to get his act together. So this team
Durant's got to stay healthy.
Durant's got to stay.
I don't know. I think that it's a shit show. Or it may not be a shit show, but it's whatever comes before a shit show.
I'm looking at the scoreboard. It looks like Philadelphia beat Miami 125-108. The Raptors.
Miami.
Wait, where are you seeing it though?
I'm sorry?
You say you're looking at a scoreboard. Where are you getting the scoreboard from?
ESPN is where I'm looking. The Raptors are up over Charlotte. Wow, they're going to win a basketball game in Tampa. That's amazing. Spurs are up over the Rockets in the fourth quarter, and then the Warriors and Nuggets play later, and the Pacers and the Trailblazers play later. So we'll wait on that. But yeah. Do you guys want to look at the college scoreboard too? Because Gonzaga is up.
Yeah.
Gonzaga
Are they
2 points over Pepperdine, 23-21 in the first.
Wow,
it's close.
I was not expecting it to be that close.
No.
Temple beat UCF 62-55. I'll talk about that on my Monday show. Utah beat Stanford 79-65. I do not know who the hell this is, so let me click on this because I don't know who these teams are. Let's see. Is it Belmont? Belmont and Tennessee Tech. 88-67. Yeah,
Belmont appears in the NCAA tournament. They played a good game against Duke once. They lost, but they were competitive.
They're one of those. And like Jim was talking about too, that with college with the March Madness, that's what you get. You get teams that you don't think are supposed to be there, and they win games. So that's awesome that way.
But most of the time, when you get the 1-16 teams, you usually get a blowout. Duke over, Detroit Mercy, 117-12. And they got there,
13,
but
come on.
the thing is, you won your conference championship. Great. The bad news is you're number 16 and you're going to get ousted your first game of the tournament. So it's kind of like,
unless you're playing Virginia.
As I said, unless you're playing Virginia, because that happened. Because that happened.
I was listening to that game. I turned it on. I was working that night. I remember I was working at a place called Mac. I was building tubes. I was doing tubing for. I haven't worked there in years, so the NDA is off, so I can talk about it. I was doing tube bending for Caterpillar and Volvo's big truck, and I had the game on in the background. Had my headphones in, was listening to tube bending and listening to the game. I was like, I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. They're going to win this game.
Well, remember, that was a
16
seeded team, though. I mean, that was a pretty good 16 seeded team.
Yeah. Hey, it was the first time. There's always
somebody.
Yep. That first time,
And then
Purdue. Slouch team, though.
Right. Purdue beat Indiana 81-69.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the USF game got postponed, so somebody must have had COVID. Okay. Michigan State and Iowa got postponed.
Yeah, I was thinking to hear that.
And then the late games is Colorado State versus San Jose State and BYU. Right. I'm not sure who SMC is, so I have to see what that is. But that's those are the
Southern Methodist Christian.
Oh, yeah. Southern Methodist. Yeah.
Okay. So that is the NCAA scoreboard.
Those are the pages of the sports section.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole thing too. I think a lot of times the sports section has changed so much over the now where it's a lot
there we go.
than it was. And as we always normally do, we end the show with my favorite sport to cover in all of them. What is your guys' take on Doug Peterson being fired in Philadelphia? Now, can we officially call that a shit show in Philadelphia? Can we call that a shit show?
Yeah, that's it. Let's see. It's not quite a shit show, but it's whatever comes right before a shit show.
It's crud.
Well, I mean, okay, put it to you this way: who's in a bigger shit show, Philadelphia or Pittsburgh, who embarrassed themselves against Cleveland this week?
I wasn't surprised with the Steelers losing. I mean, they looked beat up.
I wasn't either.
They looked beat up. I mean, Roethlisberger, didn't have it. I mean, they had a lot of problems, down the stretch and all with the COVID cases and whatnot. I think it got to him. So, you know what? I wasn't surprised by
either was I
losing. So, I wouldn't say it, but it was kind of, shall we say, crap.
It was a mess.
It was sweet revenge for the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
All the Browns fans out there, it was sweet revenge for you guys.
Yeah.
I got a friend who's a pretty big Browns fan. He was wearing his Browns mask all week.
The last Browns, the dinosaurs were just coming into extinction.
They were only threatened at that point.
Yeah.
Well, then, congratulations to them. Now they get to go play Kansas City. So there's your consolation.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I don't know. I unfortunately for Kansas City or for Cleveland, I would say that they'd have a chance, but I can't see Mahomes throwing 3 picks.
No.
And I really think that was the difference in the game between Pittsburgh and Cleveland.
Well, the other big coaching announcement that was made today is the Jaguars have hired Urban Meyer. I reported on my show on Monday. Yeah, I hired him. They hired Urban Meyer.
Official.
Jackson.
Yeah, it's official.
Okay, because when I was, about 6:30, they were still discussing of if he was going to get. I mean, he looked like the prime candidate, but it wasn't confirmed. But now I guess it has been.
Yeah, I actually read an article on my Monday show that he was compiling a coaching staff, and I'm like, he already had the job on Monday. I think they were just working out the fine details until today. Because I'm thinking, why are you getting a coaching staff together if you're not going to be a coach? That's weird.
Right.
They hired him. just hasn't been named official yet. So
Yeah, it hasn't been made
Rather
official
than
yet.
jump the gun, which
Um,
I've done in the past, I wait till it's official so I can get accurate, because I don't want to be accused of letting out false information. And they're like, you what? You know that's not true.
no,
People have been on my case about that. So I'm trying to change that. And be as fully accurate as possible.
no, that's cool because you know what, Lewis, I'll be honest with you too, but I've had that happen to me where I've said something and it hasn't happened yet, and then it doesn't happen at all. Something falls through and it doesn't happen at all. But now he's going to get the number 1 overall pick, which I think we all know is going to be Trevor Lawrence most likely. So there you go. I don't know unless he gets Justin Fields because
I was just literally going to say the Ohio State connection.
Yeah.
The OSU.
Wait, you're sure it's Justin Fields, not Justin Bieber? Okay. Yeah.
I thought that ESPN was reporting that Scott Linehan has been hired to be the OC down there.
Okay.
Yep. That's
yeah, that's a disaster in the making.
Well, then let it be. See, obviously, the funny thing is the only team in the state that I live in that no one seems to care about is them. Because Miami's a good football team. Brian Flores is a great thing.
Yeah.
Arians has Tom Brady for at least another year. The Bucs are a great football team, obviously. So Jaguars are the anomaly in Florida right now.
Yeah.
Well,
and you got people still wearing Seminoles gear. I ain't seen anybody wearing a Jags jersey anytime soon.
Isn't it amazing though how everybody was trashing the Jets this year because 0-14 and whatnot. Finished 2-14, but they were 0-13, which is the worst start in Jets history. And somebody actually did worse than the Jets. I'm like, how about that?
Yeah, well, the Jaguars beat the Colts and then lost the next 14 games in a row.
Yeah.
Or 15 games in a row. Excuse me. 15 in a row.
They also lost the next 14 games in a row, too.
Right. 14 to 15 games in a row. All right.
Fire game,
So we've already talked about Cleveland, Kansas City. So the other 3 games, we'll go to the Saturday afternoon game, and that's the Rams, who did a pretty good job against Seattle after losing their starting quarterback. And Jared Goff didn't look like he missed a beat. And now they're going to play Aaron Rodgers, and that defense is great. Is there any news? Is Aaron Donald playing? Or is Cooper Kupp?
I haven't heard. I didn't know he was even.
Donald got hurt. Cooper Kupp left the game. I'm just wondering if those guys are going to be able to play on Saturday.
I have not heard. I honestly don't think it's going to make much of a difference.
Okay.
Green Bay is just too stout.
Okay.
So, I thought they could get past Seattle, and I said as much as on the show. You can go back and look. I thought if Goff played good, that Seattle's defense wasn't really up to the challenge to stop the Rams' offense. And
the Seahawks can do nothing on offense either.
Right.
Russell Wilson looked lost out there. They couldn't do nothing. They couldn't run the ball. They couldn't throw the ball. Metcalf Ramsey ate him up the whole game. So, yeah.
That was the surprise of the week, I think.
I just don't see Ramsey being able to contain
Adams.
Yeah, Adams. I got to go with Adams all the way on that one.
Okay.
I just think Adams is a better, more experienced receiver than DK Metcalf. And experience is a huge thing. Not to say that Metcalf is a bad receiver. I just think with another year of experience, and being able to get off the ball a little bit better and knowing how to work through coverages, I think he'll be better. But Adams is where he's at because he's one of the best in the game right now.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, I'll take the Packers too. I don't think the Rams have enough.
What's the line on that game?
435. Oh, what's the line? Let me see. Hang on just a second. Pull that up here. See what they have or what the game. I mean, I'm sure the game time temperature is going to be cold.
Yeah,
in Green Bay.
And that favors the Packers.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah. All right. So it looks like right now the Packers are a 6.5 point favorite with the over under being 45.5. So that's what they have listed right now. So
I'm gonna go. I think I'll take the Packers. The points in the under. I'm gonna 31-7 Packers.
And the Game time temperature is 32 degrees in Green Bay.
Not bad for Green Bay.
Yeah, 32 degrees. Yeah. I think I'm going to take what Adam's doing. I think I'm going to do the same thing. Take the points under. Yep. I think that will be prevalent enough. I don't think the Rams, they'll score points, but they won't score enough for the spread to be.
No.
45.5 seems like a lot of points unless Green Bay goes absolutely, off the points. Yeah.
Yeah.
The next game, guys, on Saturday is 8:15, and that's the Ravens traveling to Buffalo to play the Bills. And line there,
that's probably going to be the best game of the weekend.
Ravens are a 2.5-point favorite with the over/under being 49.5. And the game time temperature in Orchard Park is going to be 37 degrees with snow. That's what it says. Snow on the ground.
Lamar Jackson's a case of snowphobia, too.
Yeah, he was saying that he's never played in snow before.
Buffalo, it's hard to pick against the Bills. It really is.
Especially in Buffalo.
Yeah, it really is hard to pick against the Bills.
And
I would take the 2.5.
Yes.
And I would take the over. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored in this game.
I'm tempted to take the over as well.
Okay.
I think it really hinges. I get, like I said last week before the Titans game. I really didn't expect the Ravens to bottle up Henry as well as they did, hold him to only 50 yards. I really thought it was going to come down to quarterback play, and I thought Ryan Tannehill. It was going to come down to who was the better quarterback. Was it Ryan Tannehill or was it Lamar Jackson, the quarterback? And I'm gonna stay with that, and I'm gonna say it comes down to quarterback play again as quarterback. I think Lamar Jackson will get his yards on the ground. It's just what he does. Can he play well enough as a quarterback? Can he throw well enough to keep the defense honest?
Yeah.
And how will Josh Allen respond in a big game? This is his second big game in his career. And playing at Wyoming, he didn't play in a lot of big time college football. He didn't play in a lot of big time bowl games, and I really don't know about his high school career. So being his second playoff game,
right,
and being his big game or third, I don't think he was there when they went to I think that was the year before he got there that they went to needed a win to get in, and I don't remember how that all worked. I think that was the year before he got there. So I think it comes down to quarterback play and who plays better quarterback play. Is it going to be Josh Allen, or is it going to be Lamar Jackson? So I'm going to go with Buffalo though. I'm going to take Buffalo. Yeah. I'll take the points, and I want to take the over, but I'm going to take the under. I think weather's going to play a huge factor in this game, and if it's nasty, I think points could be at a premium.
Because it looks like the ESPN match predictor, they have 51% say Baltimore's going to win, so that's close. 48% Buffalo, so that's damn close as far as.
Yeah, it's real damn close.
All right, so then again, we've already discussed. Okay, so the Cleveland-Kansas City game. Let's look at the numbers there real quick. What the line is for that game? That's the 3:05. Wow, the Bucks and Saints are kicking off at 6:40. That's a weird time to kick off a football game.
Yeah.
Right? So the over.
At least it's not a 9 o'clock game.
The Chiefs are a 10-point favorite with the over/under being 57. I don't know.
That's a huge over.
Wow,
what's the weather? What's the weather going to be like in Arrowhead?
What is the weather in Arrowhead on Sunday afternoon? They're predicting 41 degrees.
I was close.
What kind? 41 and clear.
41 and cloudy. The sun. It's going to be overcast. Not super cloudy. It's going to be sunny. So it's not. There's no snow or anything like that.
No snow, no rain, no wind.
Yeah, no, none of that. It's going to be, I guess, perfectly ideal fall weather, winter weather in Kansas City. I guess. I don't live in Missouri, so I don't.
I'm going to take Kansas City. I'm going to take the point. I'm going to take Kansas City and the points in the over.
I agree.
I think Kansas City's going to hang 40 on them, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I want to say Cleveland's Cinderella this year. I really think so. I could see Cleveland. Cleveland's got a chance if they can run the ball and control the clock and keep the ball out of Mahomes' hands. But I really think that if Kansas City can weather an early storm, I think that they will definitely be definitely win the game, and I think they'll win it handily. I think they'll put 40 up.
I don't know. I think Kansas has got this all wrapped up. I think it's gonna be over early.
You think it's gonna be early over? Yeah.
Think he's gonna hang in there for very long. I mean, going up against Mahomes, I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see it either. But I mean, the only way I can see them is if they can get a couple of long scoring drives and control the clock and keep Mahomes on the bench. That's gonna be the easiest way for them to win it.
Right.
Yeah. And guys, the final game is a rematch of the NFC South. That's the Buccaneers and the Saints in New Orleans. So there will be no weather factor, obviously.
Right.
There will be no weather factor. Right now, the Saints are a 3-point favorite. The over-under is 52 in this game.
Only 3. Huh.
Yeah, I'm surprised they weren't more. Was as badly as they beat up on them earlier in the year?
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I just wrote an article about this game today about 3 keys for the Bucs to win this game, and you guys can agree or disagree with me when I say this. But here's what I as the 3 keys. 1, they have to win the turnover battle because they have not done that against the Saints in either game this year. Number 2, they have to run the football. They cannot rely on Tom Brady to throw the ball 50 times because that's happened in the first 2 games. And number 3, they got to get after Drew Brees. If he sits back there and picks you apart, good luck and it'll be over and done with, and we'll be talking about tea times for Tom Brady instead of an NFC title game, possibly Green Bay. So that's my 3 keys. I wrote the article. It's probably going to be up sometime this weekend, but I wrote that article right before I got on here today. So yes,
I don't think you're wrong. I mean, that's not.
No, not at
I mean,
all.
it's common sense as far as NFL football is concerned. Run the ball, protect the ball, and get after the opposing team's quarterback. I mean, that's textbook. I mean, and I can't disagree with you. I definitely got to protect the ball. They can't have 37 interceptions.
Nope.
And I think points are going to be at a premium for Tampa Bay. I really think they're going to have to match score for score. I really think that's going to be the key to keeping it close. So the line's 52. The over-under is 52 with a 3-point line.
Correct.
52 is 32 and 20. Excuse me. I'm going to take Tampa Bay, and I'm going to take the over. I'm going to go Tampa Bay is 31, New Orleans 24. I really think that Tom Brady, he finds what he's been missing the last couple of weeks, or the 2 times that they played them in the regular season, and I think Tom Brady gets it done. It's hard to bet against Tom Brady in the playoffs, no matter how good or bad the opponent is.
I don't think so. I think New Orleans, especially at the Dome, they're awfully tough to beat. I honestly know Brady is going to be able to match up against this. Brady against Breeze. No, Breeze has this. I'm saying at 31-17 Saints.
Okay. I'm going to take the Bucs in with the points. I actually predicted on a pick'em game that I had the Bucs winning 31-28 with a game-winning field goal happening. Now, again, I know Ryan Suckup has been kind of iffy the last few weeks, but I think in big moments, I think Tom Brady doesn't lose to a team 3 times in a row, and during a season, I think they find a way to win. But like I said, if they can't get Breeze on the ground, it's going to be the same thing it was a couple weeks ago when they beat him 38-3. So you're going to have to score points when they get in the red zone.
Yep.
You can't have empty drives. You can't have field goals, or you got to score touchdowns, obviously. But yeah, I again, we'll see, because I think a lot of people are predicting Green Bay and the Saints in the NFC title game, and then obviously you have, was it Buffalo and Kansas City
Yep.
in the AFC title game. So if that's the way, I mean, again, we'll talk about this next week, because obviously we'll be previewing that next week. But I again, I don't mean to be a homer, because again, people are going to go, oh, he's from Florida, and he likes the Lightning, and now he's picking the home team. Well, no, I just think it's the Bucs.
I do too.
I think it's finally.
I just don't see somebody keeping Tom Brady down 3 weeks, three chances in a row, 3 times in a row.
But I mean, if it is like Lewis said, it would be Sean Payton that would be able to do that. So I'm just saying, it would be Sean Payton that would be the guy that would be able to do that.
Yes.
Now, here's the question I have to ask: if the Saints do lose on Sunday night, is this it for Drew Brees? Is this the last time we see Drew, or do you see him come back one more year?
I'll play one more year.
One more year.
One way or the other, he's going to play one more year. I've got him playing one more year.
I think you said, Bud, the same thing about Phillip Rivers too. So we'll have to wait and see if he comes back for the Colts next year, because I think the Colts are a pretty good football team. I think they're
a very good football team.
Got a very good team. Frank Wright, who kind of took that job by the skin of his chin because he got thrown into the job.
Yeah.
Josh Daniels left and he got thrown into it, and since he's taken over, that team has been pretty damn good since he's taken over.
They've been very good.
That franchise. All right, gentlemen, any final thoughts before we roll out of here?
No, I think about covered it. Well,
all right.
I want to thank our guest again, Jim Brandstatter. It was excellent to have him on the show. Look forward to having him on again. If anybody else wants to come on, you can reach me at my Facebook page, which is just Adam Mangold, and you just shoot me a message, and we'll see about working out a time to get you on the show. Don't forget, you can check out his website, which is jimbrandstatter.com or the brandypodcast.com. He also has a couple of books, and his wife has a charity. So if you like horses, check out the charity. And again, thank you for coming on, Mr. Brandstatter. It was a blast to have you on, and that's the show for this week. Come back next week, and we'll do it all over again.
Yep.
Like I said, thanks, guys. Again, like Adam said, anybody, Lewis, if you have somebody that you want to bring on, be more than happy to do that. Any interviews like that, we're more than likely to have.
Come on, please come on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm working on it myself for this show and for my Monday show. So I might have one that I'm going to try to get on here who is a local hockey player here. So I'm going to try to maybe get him on in a couple weeks. Yep. He played for the Lightning. He was part of their 2004 Stanley Cup championship team. So
that would be cool. Anybody?
Andre Waugh is who it is. I'm going to try to get Andre Waugh.
That would be cool.
Yeah,
I know the name.
I'm going to try to message him on Facebook. He was on the guy that I do my Facebook.
Is Mr. Brandstatter on Facebook or no?
Yeah, it's the Jim Brandstatter on Facebook. That's actually how you can follow his page on Facebook. He has a verified account, and
all right.
He also has his websites and all that. So
okay, I'll check.
He answers messages, so send him a message.
Because some people don't.
Yeah.
Send message, you big dummy. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
Right, I'm reaching out to some other people trying to line up another interview, keep this thing going, and haven't had any luck yet. So I'm very grateful to Mr. Brandstatter. I don't know if we can call him Jim or not, but definitely Mr. Brandstatter for sure.
Well, I'll be honest with you guys. It takes 9 no's to get a yes, and that's the way it goes in business. Yeah, 9 no's to get a yes. So I mean,
I got a yes on. So I got a yes on the first one. So should I expect 9 no's from here on out?
May not take.
That's okay.
Well, enjoy going.
Have a good one, Lewis. Thank you.
Have a good one, Lewis.
All right, guys. So again, as I load up the end of the show here, again, if you want to get any In the Zone talk radio sports gear, head over to squadlocker.com. Type in N as in Nancy, the Zone Sports Talk Radio, to get to the gear that's there. if you go to they have a Facebook page, by the way, guys, that I'm part of, In the Zone Sports Radio. Head over there. Every time you turn around, someone's on there wearing gear. So it's good gear. It's not cheaply made or anything like that. So head on over there. I got a shirt for free because I'm part of the network, so I got some freebies. But that's the way it goes.
Right.
Again, guys, I am also sponsored by CreatingZenSpaces.com. My friend Renee has been my sponsor since I started this show. Again, in the local choice in St. Petersburg, Florida, for house cleaning, organization, decluttering, and pet sitting. It's about finding the peace within you and adding comfort to your life. Remember, guys, Zen Spaces begins with you. Be kind to yourself and one another. And by God, that means a lot to be kind to yourself, because there are people out there that are not. And with this virus, I think everyone needs to follow those parameters. Be kind to yourself and one another. Before I go, guys, as I always do, thanks to the essential workers, the doctors, nurses, the hospitals, everyone else out there that's been the true heroes through the pandemic. Guys, the vaccine is coming. Just we got to be a little bit more patient. It's getting there for everybody. We just gotta try to keep our mask and everything, and try to do everything. Like I said earlier, guys, my sister has it. Luckily enough, I'm not around her enough to where I would get it. But I'm saying that it's very easy to be spreadable and stuff like that. So everyone just be safe. Wear your mask out there. And like Adam said earlier, it may not be you. You may not show any symptoms, but then the next person that you run into may. So, and you might breathe on them, and then they get sick, and then they could die. So just be careful with what,
please be respectful of everybody.
Exactly. And also, guys, before I go, to the men and women of our armed services, the active, retired, and the ones who have left us, thank you for your sacrifice. We wouldn't be able to do this show once a week. I wouldn't be able to do my podcast 3 days a week if it was not for you guys doing for what you do. So thank you again. And also to the police officers, firefighters, and paramedics, thank you for keeping us safe domestically in your local state, local country, wherever you are located in the world. As I always say, I love every one of you guys. Thank you for coming in here. Thank you again to our guest. That was a kick-ass interview.
That was amazing.
That was one of the longest interviews I think I've ever done on this show. So I have to.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
But
if you missed,
go back. Yeah, go ahead.
If you missed anything from earlier in the show, or if you just want to watch it again, we do have a YouTube channel. That's the Sports Nerd Bradley Walker on YouTube. So type that in, and you'll be able to find the replay of this show. To tweet it to your friends, your family, people you don't like, people you do like. Make sure everybody sees it.
And like and subscribe. That would be great.
Yes, like, subscribe, comment. Don't forget to comment.
And guys, like I said, if you see the show here, there's pixels that are to my right or left. I can't remember which direction they are.
Your left, our right.
They will not be there next week, as I have ordered a camera that will take the pixels out next week. I have a model friend that I follow on Patreon who told me that I needed to get a high-definition camera, and I ordered one.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
But until then, guys, everyone, please stay safe out there. This has been the Walk Report, part of In the Zone Sports Radio. Again, thanks to Adam. Thanks to Lewis. Thank you guys for making the show fun. As always, we will see you guys next week. Until then, peace.
Cheers.